Okay, so say you're turning 80 soon.
Big birthday.
Huge milestone. Congratulations. But with all the excitement of a new decade, you might be wondering about something not so fun.
Yeah, I bet.
What does it mean for my car insurance?
It's true. Nobody likes seeing their bills go up, right?
Right.
But before you start stressing about those premiums, let's dive into why this happens and, more importantly, what you can do about it.
Exactly. Get informed and empowered, because knowledge is definitely power in this situation. We're looking at some really interesting information from this text you shared about how car insurance can change as we get older.
Right.
We're going to break down not just the what, but the why behind these changes. Plus, we've got some practical tips.
I like it.
That might just save you some cash along the way.
Gotta love that.
Exactly. So let's get right into it.
Okay.
Why does car insurance often go up when you hit the big 8-row? Feels a little unfair, right? Like, just because I'm turning 80 doesn't mean I'm suddenly a worse driver.
I hear you, and you're right. It's not about age itself turning you into a different driver overnight.
Yeah.
But statistically speaking, data shows that drivers over 80 do have a slightly higher risk of accidents.
Okay.
Insurance is fundamentally about assessing and pricing risk.
So it's not personal, it's just statistics.
Exactly. Insurers use mountains of data to calculate these risks.
Okay.
It might feel impersonal, but that's how they figure out those premiums.
Okay, but what kind of data are we talking about here? What makes that risk go up? Is it just because we're getting older?
Well, it's not about age as a number, but about factors that can sometimes come with aging.
Yeah.
Things like potential declines in reflexes or vision, to be specific about that risk increase. Studies have shown that drivers over 80 see an average increase of about 15% in their premiums.
15%.
Compared to younger drivers.
Okay, so that's good to know. At least it's not doubling overnight like I secretly feared.
Yeah.
But still, I bet a lot of people listening are thinking, hey, wait a minute. I'm 80 and I'm a great driver. I'm more cautious now than I was in my 20s.
Absolutely, and that's really important to remember.
Yeah.
The source you provided even points out that older drivers are often much more experienced on the road.
Yeah.
They've seen it all, right?
Right.
And many are exceptionally cautious, driving less frequently and taking fewer risks.
Right. And in my family, my grandma actually drives less now than anyone else. She basically just goes to the grocery store and back.
I was going to say that.
So it makes sense that that would play a role too.
Absolutely.
Right.
If we connect that to the bigger picture, you're not just a number in this system.
Yeah.
You have more control over these costs than you might realize.
Okay. That's a good segue into the next big question on everyone's mind.
Okay.
How much will those rates actually go up?
Thankfully, it's usually not a dramatic spike right when you hit that 80th birthday.
Oh, okay.
The increase is typically gradual.
Okay. That's reassuring. But I'm guessing it varies quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Depending on a bunch of factors.
You got it. The specific company you're with, your driving history, even where you live. It all plays a role in those final numbers, which is why it's even more important to be proactive and understand those factors you can control.
This is where it gets really interesting to me.
Okay.
The idea that you're not just stuck with whatever number the insurance company throws at you.
Exactly. And that's why we're here to give you the knowledge to take charge.
So hit me with those tips. What can people actually do to manage those costs?
First and foremost, don't be afraid to shop around.
Yeah.
You mentioned your grandma only driving to the grocery store and back.
Yeah.
Her needs might be different from someone who's still commuting every day.
Right.
Different companies have different formulas for calculating risk and setting rates.
Yeah.
And some might be more favorable to drivers who are, let's say, seasoned.
Right.
And prioritize safety.
Yeah, it's like finding the perfect pair of shoes. Not every style fits everyone.
It's worth comparing quotes from multiple insurers, especially as you hit this age milestone.
Okay.
You might be surprised at the variations you find.
And these days, you can do so much of that online.
Right.
So convenient.
Super easy.
Okay, what else?
Next up, take a close look at your coverage.
Okay.
Do you really need that super comprehensive plan? If you're mainly driving locally, not racking up a ton of miles, maybe not.
Yeah.
Adjusting your coverage to fit your actual needs can be a smart way to save.
That's a great point, because sometimes we're paying for things that we don't even use.
Yeah, totally.
It's about finding that sweet spot between being covered and not overpaying, right?
Absolutely. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are good for you.
Okay.
Don't forget about senior discounts.
Oh, yes, please.
They exist. They can actually be pretty significant.
No, those are discounts I can get behind.
Yeah.
everyone loves saving money.
For sure. And the source you shared even mentioned discounts for things like taking a refresher course or a defensive driving class.
That's a win-win.
Right.
Brush up on your skills and potentially lower those costs.
Exactly. These courses are usually pretty short and can do wonders for refreshing your knowledge, demonstrating to your insurer that you're committed to staying safe on the road.
Okay, so we've got shopping around, adjusting coverage, taking advantage of discounts.
Right.
What other tips are in your arsenal?
This one might seem obvious, but it's often overlooked.
Okay.
Mileage matters.
Oh, of course.
If you're driving less than, say, 5,000 miles a year, make sure your insurance company knows that low mileage means lower risk in their eyes.
Yeah.
Which can often translate to lower premiums.
Makes sense.
Don't be shy about sharing those driving habits.
Okay, so we've got all these practical tips for saving money. But I kind of want to go a little deeper here.
Okay.
Is it truly fair?
Oh, here we go.
To raise rates based solely on age?
Right.
I mean, people age so differently.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's where things get a little more complex.
Okay.
The source you provided highlights this tension between using data and considering individual differences.
Right.
On the one hand, insurers have this data that supports the idea of a slightly higher risk in this age group overall.
Right. We talked about those potential age-related changes.
Exactly. But on the other hand, one 80-year-old might be in great health, sharp as a tack, no issues driving whatsoever. Right. While another might have limitations that do impact their abilities behind the wheel.
So it really raises an important question.
It does.
Is a blanket age-based approach
Fred.
the most accurate or fair way to assess risk?
Right. I can see both sides of it.
Yeah.
It makes sense to use data to get a general picture.
Yep.
But it does feel a little unfair to just lump everyone together because of their birthday, you know?
Yeah, like what about all those safe and experienced drivers who just happen to be over 80?
It's a valid point.
Right.
And there's a growing conversation about how to balance data-driven decisions with more personalized assessments.
Right.
Some experts are suggesting that insurers should be looking more closely at individual driving habits and health records if privacy allows to get a more accurate picture of individual risk.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Right.
So what are some of the specific ways they could do that?
Well, one exciting development is telematics.
What is that?
That's basically using technology to monitor driving behavior in real time.
Oh, like a fitness tracker, but for your car?
Exactly. Some insurance companies are already offering programs where you install a small device in your car or use an app on your phone. And it tracks things like your speed, braking habits, how smoothly you accelerate, even the time of day you're driving.
So they're looking at your actual driving style, not just assumptions.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
It is. And the really interesting thing is that this data can actually work in your favor. If you're a safe and responsible driver, you can potentially earn discounts on your premiums.
Oh, I like that.
It's like getting rewarded for good behavior.
Way more fair.
Right.
Than just being penalized for getting older.
Exactly.
Are there any other personalized approaches on the horizon?
Definitely. There's a lot of talk about incorporating things like cognitive testing into the assessment process.
So like brain games and stuff.
Yeah, these tests can measure things like reaction time, attention span, decision-making skills, which can provide valuable insights into a driver's cognitive abilities, regardless of their age.
So it's about looking at the whole picture.
Exactly.
Your physical and mental abilities as a driver.
And it's not just about risk assessment either. This kind of personalized data can also be incredibly helpful for identifying potential issues early on. Maybe even before they become a safety concern.
Oh, so it's like preventative care.
I like that analogy. And it's something we should all be thinking about, no matter our age. How can we be proactive about staying healthy and maintaining those safe driving habits as we get older?
That's a powerful message.
Right.
So for our listener who's turning 80, or maybe you're just thinking ahead, hitting this milestone doesn't have to mean a car insurance nightmare.
Absolutely. With a little knowledge and proactive effort, you can navigate this transition with confidence. Keep those costs under control.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the reasons behind those increasing premiums.
Yep.
Practical tips for saving money. Even a glimpse into the future of personalized insurance.
It's fascinating to think about how much the landscape of car insurance is evolving.
Yeah.
It's really empowering to realize that we as drivers have more agency than ever before.
I totally agree.
Right.
As we wrap things up, I want to leave our listener with something to ponder.
I like it.
Inspired by everything we've talked about today.
Okay.
If insurance is all about data and risk, what other factors should companies be considering beyond just age and those traditional metrics?
Right.
What about things like driving style, reaction time, maybe even sleep patterns?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
The possibilities really are expanding as technology continues to advance.
Right.
We're seeing the emergence of things like artificial intelligence, machine learning that can analyze massive amounts of data and identify patterns that humans might miss.
It's like the insurance industry is on the verge of a technological revolution.
Yeah.
It's like the whole concept of insurance is becoming more personalized
Yeah.
and proactive. Instead of just reacting to accidents, they're trying to prevent them.
Exactly. It's a really exciting shift.
Yeah.
And it has the potential to benefit everyone, not just insurance companies, but drivers of all ages.
So to wrap things up, any final words of wisdom for our listener as they navigate this new decade of driving?
I'd say embrace your experience, stay informed, and don't be afraid to ask questions. You have more control over your insurance costs than you might think.
I like it. Beautifully said. Okay, folks, that's our deep dive
It was funny.
into car insurance and what it means as you hit those milestone birthdays.
Big birthdays.
We hope you found it informative and insightful.
Yeah.
And maybe even a little bit empowering.
For sure.
Remember, knowledge is power.
Absolutely.
And now you've got the tools
You do.
to make informed decisions
All right.
about your car insurance.
So important.
And until next time, stay curious and drive safe.